Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Trenches, Kroll's weekly threat intelligence briefing. Today is the 13th of October. My name is George Glass, and joining me today from the Threat Intel team is Ryan Hicks and Jeffrey Deng. This week, we are covering a new versions of popular malware being released in the run-up to the holiday season. We were expecting this. We have a remote code execution vulnerability in Redis. We have a report on a threat actor named BatShadow. Ryan has a roundup of Microsoft Teams targeting. We have Medusa exploiting GoAnyWhere MFT vulnerabilities as well. So let's talk about these new malware as a service. In the last few weeks, Kroll has observed a number of new and updated malware as a service, or MaaS, operations launching new versions of their malware. The MaaS market is highly competitive, with developers competing on price, features, and defense evasion techniques. Kroll typically observes an uptick in the activity in the MaaS market in Q4 as the developers of these platforms prepare for increased interest in the run-up to the holiday season, and that is certainly no different this year. So on the 6th of October, the actor behind the development of the information stealing malware VIDAR, Loadbacks, announced the release of a new major version of VIDAR, version 2.0. According to the posting, the malware was rewritten from C++ to C, and that significantly improves the speed of the stealer. The actor also stated that the 2.0 version incorporates new detection evasion capabilities and bypasses Google Chrome's app-bound encryption security feature, which obviously helps with stealing tokens and passwords from Google Chrome. The service price remains unchanged at about $300 a month. Next is Rhadamanthus. Researchers at Checkpoint reported on a new Rhadamanthus version, that's 0.9.2, which also introduces a number of deliberate changes aimed at evading existing analysis and detection tools, with changes to obfuscation, a change from XOR to RC4 encryption, and additions to software fingerprinting, a larger list of process injection targets, more command and control options, in addition to a number of smaller updates. The MaaS has a slightly different operating model and uses tiered pricing brackets. The cost is $299 a month for a self-hosted version and $499 a month for the hosted version. Lastly, we have Zloader. This isn't really actively deployed as a commodity stealer like Rhadamanthus or VIDAR, but Zloader is actively developed malware, and it used as both a loader and information stealing malware. The latest versions were analyzed by Zscaler and feature an updated DNS tunneling capability, additional code obfuscation to slow analysis, and new LDAP reconnaissance commands. Of course, we continue to monitor the malware threat landscape closely, and we're confident in the detection capability to prevent the threats posed by the likes of VIDAR, Rhadamanthus, and Zloader. Kroll is developing specific detections for some of the new Rhadamanthus features and behaviors. And next up, we have a critical remote code execution vulnerability in Redis. This is tracked as CVE 2025-49844, and it carries a CVSS score of 10. There is a POC out for this in the wild, and it affects all versions up to 8.2.1. The flaw resides in the Lua scripting engine and allows authenticated users to execute arbitrary code on the host system. The vulnerability stems from a use after free condition triggered by manipulating the Lua garbage collector. The issue has existed in Redis for over a decade and was only recently discovered. Exploitation does require authentication, but can lead to full system compromise, including reverse shell execution and data exfiltration. Attackers can manipulate memory allocation and reuse freed memory blocks to inject malicious payloads. The vulnerability poses a heightened risk in deployments where Redis is accessible to untrusted users or where authentication mechanisms are improperly configured or insufficiently enforced. Public scans have revealed proof of concept code being released in the wild and over 300,000 Redis instances online, with tens of thousands potentially vulnerable due to default or missing authentication. So recommendations here, of course, upgrade to Reddit version 8.2.2 as soon as possible. If upgrading is not immediately feasible, restrict access to the Lua scripting by disabling the eval and eval sha commands through the ACL configuration. Where possible, make sure that Redis is not exposed to the public internet and that strong authentication is enforced. And monitor for unusual Lua script activity and audit Redis logs for signs of exploitation. With that, I'm going to hand over to Ryan to take us through some of the next bulletins. Over to you, Ryan.
Thanks, George. Firstly, a new campaign by threat actor KTA 517, also known as BatShadow. This was discovered by Arica Threat Research. The campaign targeted victims looking for jobs and also targeted digital marketing professionals. It's believed that the group are Vietnamese-based due to similarities to other campaigns targeting marketing professionals and the use of an IP used in a previous campaign linked to the country. The group posing as recruiters distributed zip archives containing malicious files, masquerading as job description files. And these files were either malicious LNK files or executables, and that used PowerShell to download and open a law PDF, as well as downloading the remote management tool Extra Viewer. The law PDF wasn't quite kind of just benign. It also contained a preview link that when clicked, it took the victim to a web page, and that used a pop-up to trick the user into copying and pasting a direct URL to a malicious file. And it did this by providing a fake unsupported browser error via a pop-up, likely a way to avoid protection against suspicious file downloads. It then kind of claimed the preview for the PDF had failed, and the user should download the file manually using the provided URL. So it's kind of two streams of delivery via the remote management tool being downloaded, as well as the fake the PDF kind of errors. And the PDF kind of installation led to the download and installation of Golang-based VampireBot, a malware that has information stealing, remote code execution, as well as payload delivery capabilities. Next up, from Microsoft. So Microsoft has provided a roundup of how Microsoft Teams has been observed being targeted at every stage of the attack chain. They warn that as the application is becoming more key across organizations, it's increasingly becoming an attractive target for attackers. So really they're kind of summarizing what we've kind of observed over the last really year or two. Really, some of the techniques the insight covers include initial access phishing via Teams, token interception for credential access, as well as enumeration of data across Teams to discover valuable data for collection. We've noted across kind of, again, the years, several threat actors particularly prevalent in the practice of targeting Teams, including KTA 243, Scattered Spider, KTA 465, Void Blizzard, and KTA 055, APT 33. There have also been tools created specifically for targeting Teams, including Teams Fisher, which is to automate the attack process for initial access, as well as Team Filtration, another tool, and that's used for exfiltration of data to cloud storage from Teams. Microsoft did provide in their kind of roundup quite a comprehensive guide on hardening Microsoft Teams, so it's highly recommended any administrators of the application seek to carry out these actions. There's also a kind of an ongoing security guide for Microsoft Teams, which again recommend familiarizing yourself with to assist in the mitigation of Teams becoming a potential target. The links to those guides are in our report itself, so yeah, highly recommend checking out both of those. That's all for me, George.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And now over to Jeff for Medusa news and their targeting of GoAnyWhere. Over to you, Jeff.
On September 18, 2025, Florida disclosed a critical deserialization flaw in GoAnyWhere's NFTs license servlet. This vulnerability allows forged licenses responses to bypass signature checks. Just a week earlier, the Medusa ransomware group, also known as KTS 321, exploited the flaw to gain access and establish command and control by deploying remote monitoring tools under the GoAnyWhere process. These attacks show the high risk to public-facing systems. With GoAnyWhere widely used, this vulnerability creates a large attack surface. It's a clear reminder of how fast threat actors can exploit unpatched systems.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff. And that's all from us this week. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, please remember to contact us at cti@kroll.com. We'll see you next week. Have a great day.